Hello, readers. Welcome to our work today in the Blue Reading Mastery book. We are today going to read lesson 66, which is the last story about Wendy and Sydney. It's also the last book we're going to read in this book. So if you're at all interested in the next story, it's about a character named Waldo who does some things with pets and likes to cook. So if you're interested in reading the stories about Waldo, you are welcome to read those on your own if you would like, because we will not be reading them as a class. So if you don't have your book right now in your packet, press pause, grab your book and packet, and we'll get started on our last lesson about Sydney and Wendy. Lesson 66, Column 1. Word 1 is pigeon. What word? Right, pigeon. Word 2 is giraffe. What word? Right, giraffe. Word 3 is squirrel. What word? Right, squirrel. Word 4 is spaghetti. What word? Yes, spaghetti. Word 5 is ridiculous. What word? Ridiculous. 6 is a name. It's a proper noun. It's the name Michael. What name? Right, Michael. Word 7 is serious. What word? Good, serious. Now, scholars, all of those words actually relate to that next story that we're not going to read about Waldo. But those animal names and spaghetti, those all have things to do with that Waldo story. So again, if you're interested and want to, you can read that story about Waldo on your own. Let's go to column 2. All the words in column 2 have EA in them. And scholars, we know that EA has 3 sounds, right? E-A-A. E-A-A. So we have to read them very carefully. Word 1 is great. What word? Great. Right? It's the third sound of the E-A-A. Great. Word 2 is the word meals. What word? Good. Meals. EA is saying E, its first sound. Meals. E-A-A. Number 3, that word is ready. What word? Right, ready. The EA is saying its second sound of E-A-A. Ready. Word 4 is least. What word? Right. It's saying its first sound of E, least. Number 5 is actually not the EA saying E, or A. That would be the of early in the word earn. What word? Earn. Very good. So EAR, right, is the of early for earn. Number 6, that word is clean. What room? What room? What word? Right, clean. The EA is saying its first sound of E. Maybe you should clean your room today. Would that surprise your family if you did that? Let's go to column 3. Word 1 is gather. What word? Good, gather. Number 2, enjoying. What word? Good, enjoying. What part of enjoying is the suffix? Right, ing. Number 3 is meow. What sound? What word? Meow. Number 4 is hamburger. What word? Great, hamburger. Number 5 is parrot. What word? Good, parrot. And number 6 is a compound word. Home and town make great, hometown. Let's go to column 4. Word 1. What word? Good, prepare. Number 2. What word? Yes, kitchen. Number 3. What word? Correct, zebra. And number 4 is the word yay. What word? Yes, yay. All right, scholars. If you want to look at any of those words again, press pause, review those vocabulary words. Otherwise, we are moving on to our story. All right, part B, our last story today about Wendy and Sydney, titled Back to Earth. Wendy and Sydney and the other students stayed on Io for 5 days. They went with the scientists who were studying the rocks on Io. They went on a land vehicle that took them 200 miles from the space station to a place where there were big volcanoes, much bigger than Soup Pot. One of these big volcanoes was erupting. The girls and the other students took pictures of the things they saw. Wendy took over 200 pictures. She even took some pictures through a telescope. She attached her camera to one end of the telescope and took pictures of the eye of Jupiter. She also took pictures of some of the other parts of the huge planet. She took one picture of a small moon that looked as if it was almost touching the surface of Jupiter. Scholars, I want you to think for a moment. Could you name at least 2 of the things that they did? If not, pause and back up and reread that part of the story. You can see 2 pictures that Wendy took. That huge volcano is over 2 miles high. And the other picture shows the enormous clouds that are swirling around to form the eye. The 5 days seemed to pass very quickly. Then it was time to go back to Earth. Wendy felt both happy and sad. So, scholars, we've talked about mixed emotions before in some of our other stories, right? Feeling 2 things at the same time. Why might she be feeling happy right now? Did you say something about, right, getting to go home to see her family again? She's probably missing them. But why might she be feeling sad? Right. Maybe you said something about, right, the trip being over, leaving her new friends. So even though she's excited and happy about getting back home to her family, she's also feeling sad about this great opportunity ending and leaving her new friends. Let's find out more. She was looking forward to getting back and telling her friends and her family about the things she had seen. She could hardly wait to show her pictures to her friends. She could almost hear what they would say when they saw some of the pictures. She imagined that their eyes would get big and they would say things like, "Wow!" and "That's incredible!" So now we've heard some things that would make her feel happy, right, about getting home. On the day that Traveler 4 was to leave for Earth, Wendy and Sydney went back to Soup Pot. They felt very strange walking up the path to the rim of the volcano. But they wanted to take one more look at the place where they had their most frightening adventure. They didn't plan to stay long this time, just long enough to take some pictures. They wanted pictures of the place where the overhang had been and pictures of the inside of the crater. Let's pause for a moment. Can you name the 2 pictures they want? 1, a picture where the overhang had been before it fell, and 2, pictures of the inside of that crater. All right. Wendy wanted these pictures more than any of the others. Why would that be? Can you infer? right? There's not an answer right there. You think, why would she want those pictures so much? Right, to have pictures that go with that adventure, right? As she's telling people about it, she can show them the pictures of what was happening. She took 6 pictures. For the last one she took, she got down on her belly and leaned over the rim to take a picture of the crater. Sydney said, "Be careful. We don't want to have to save you." Wendy was careful. And then, scholars, we get to those 3 dots, the ellipsis. Right? It means we're jumping ahead, so we're going to skip over some things and continue. As the girls entered the space station again, the automatic voice inside Wendy's helmet said, "Shh, you have 40 minutes of oxygen left." So, scholars, did she have that much oxygen left the last time she tried to get to the space station from Soup Pot? No. Do you remember what happened to her oxygen supply last time? Yeah, it ran out. Why did she have so much oxygen left this time then? Oh, right. She wasn't running back to get help, so she didn't use up as much oxygen. Very good. Later that day, the students and most of the passengers who had come to Jupiter with them boarded Traveler 4. Some of the scientists stayed on Io, and some of the scientists that had been on Io for months left with Wendy and the other students. 2 of these scientists had been on Io for over a year. So, scholars, how long had 2 of the scientists been there? For over a year, right, doing research. Had those scientists come to Io with them? No. So some of the scientists who came with Wendy and Sydney and the other students are staying, and some are coming back with them that had been there. All right, scholars, I just passed by that blue star. I'm on the next new paragraph. Wendy and Sydney hugged Rod. Find that spot. All right, I want you to pause right now and read the rest of this story to yourself, and then be ready for a couple of my questions. All right, ready for my questions? What time of day was it in Japan when they landed? Yes, it was morning. Name some of the things Wendy and Sydney planned to do with each other now that they would be separating. Let's see if you named any of these things. They're planning to see each other. They're planning to write each other. They're planning to call each other, right, on the telephone, and to send pictures to each other. Did you name any of those things? I sure hope so. So, did Wendy and Sydney get on the same plane to then head home from Japan? No, they did not. Remember, they don't live in the same place. Wendy noticed that the woman next to her on her plane was reading a book. And what was that book about? The solar system. The woman asked Wendy something that made Wendy laugh. What did she ask that made Wendy laugh? Right. If Wendy knew that one of Jupiter's moons had volcanoes on it. Because, of course, she laughed. She knew that. Interesting. All right, scholars, I hope you enjoyed the stories about Wendy and Sydney. Join me now for our packet work.